Before coins of silver or gold ever reached these sun-kissed shores, the people of the Maldives had their own special kind of money. It was a treasure given to them by the vast blue ocean that surrounds their islands. This money was not made of metal. It was not printed on paper. Instead, it was a beautiful small shell. It was the cowrie shell. These little shells were smooth and shiny, like polished porcelain. They were light and easy to carry. For many, many centuries, they were the currency of this island nation. They were a gift from the sea, and they became the lifeblood of the Maldivian economy. The system they used was simple yet effective. It was called barter. A fisherman with too many fish could trade them for coconuts from a farmer. A boat builder could exchange his skills for woven mats. But this could be complicated. What if the coconut farmer did not want fish? The cowrie shell solved this problem. Everyone agreed that the shells had value. So, the fisherman could sell his fish for a pouch of cowrie shells. He could then use these shells to buy anything he needed. The shells made trade easier and smoother for everyone living on these scattered islands. The cowrie shell, known locally as, was perfect for this role. It was small, durable, and difficult to fake. Nature produced them, but not in such numbers that they became worthless. Collecting them required effort. It was the money cowrie that was most prized. It was found in the shallow lagoons of the Maldivian atolls. The islanders would gather them, clean them, and sort them. They became a standard measure of wealth. A single coconut might be worth a few shells. A small boat might be worth thousands. It was a currency born entirely from the natural world. This natural money connected the communities across the more than 1,000 islands of the Maldives. A person from a northern atoll could travel to a southern atoll and use the very same cowrie shells to trade. It was a universal language of commerce within the archipelago. This system lasted for a very long time, showing how humans can find clever solutions using the resources around them. The humble cowrie shell was not just a pretty object from the sea. It was the first chapter in the long and fascinating story of money in the Maldives. It was a true treasure of the islands. The Maldives is not an isolated chain of islands. It sits in a very important place. It is a crossroads in the middle of the vast Indian Ocean. For thousands of years, great sailing ships from Arabia, Persia, Africa, and the Far East have passed by. These ships followed the monsoon winds, and the Maldives was a perfect place to stop. The islands offered fresh water, food, and a safe place to rest during long journeys. This central location turned the Maldives into a bustling hub of international trade. The islanders were not just living on their own, they were part of a much larger world. With all these visitors, the Maldivian cowrie shell found a new and exciting purpose. Traders from other lands were fascinated by these small, white shells. They were not found everywhere. In fact, the Maldives was one of the world's biggest sources of them. Arab merchants in particular saw great value in them. They began to trade their goods, like rice, spices, and textiles, for huge quantities of cowrie shells. The shells were then loaded onto their ships and carried to distant lands. The Maldivian cowrie became an international currency, used in parts of Africa, India, and even China. This trade brought great prosperity to the Maldives. The sultans who ruled the islands controlled the cowrie shell trade. It was a royal monopoly. This meant that only the sultan could officially export the shells. This control made the rulers very wealthy and powerful. They used this wealth to build mosques, support their courts, and protect their islands. The cowrie shell was more than just local money now. It was the Maldives' most valuable export. It was a tiny treasure that connected this small island nation to the great empires of the world, making it a key player in the ancient global economy. The constant flow of traders also brought new ideas, new cultures, and new technologies to the islands. The Maldivian people learned from the sailors and merchants who visited their shores. They saw different ways of life and heard different languages. And importantly, they saw different kinds of money. The traders brought with them coins made of copper, silver, and gold from their own lands. The islanders began to see how these metal coins were used. This was the first glimpse of a new kind of currency, one that would eventually find its own unique expression in the Maldives. The age of the cowrie was not over, but a new chapter was beginning. A truly transformative moment in Maldivian history occurred in the 12th century. A new faith arrived on the islands. It was Islam, It was brought by scholars and traders from the Middle East. The Maldivian king at the time, who was a Buddhist, decided to convert. He became the first sultan of the Maldives. Soon, the entire country embraced the new religion. This was not just a change in belief. It changed everything about Maldivian society, from its laws and its language to its art and its identity. And it would also, in time, change its money. With the arrival of Islam, the Maldives became even more deeply connected to the powerful Islamic world. Its trading partners were now fellow Muslims from Arabia, Persia, and North Africa. These traders brought with them their own currencies. The most common were silver and gold coins, like the dirham and the dinar. These coins were used all across the Islamic world. They were stamped with Arabic script, often with verses from the Quran and the names of powerful caliphs. Maldivians began to use these foreign coins in larger trades, alongside their own cowrie shells. For a long time, the Maldives relied on this mix of currencies. Cowrie shells were still used for everyday purchases and local trade. They were the small change of the kingdom. But for larger transactions, like buying a whole shipload of goods, the foreign silver coins were more practical. It was easier to carry a bag of silver coins than millions of cowrie shells. This period shows a gradual shift. The people of the Maldives were becoming familiar with the concept of struck coinage. They understood its weight, its value, and the authority it represented. This exposure to foreign coins planted an important seed. It gave the Maldivian sultans an idea. If powerful rulers in other lands could issue their own coins, why couldn't they? A coin was more than just money. It was a declaration of sovereignty. It was a way to announce to the world that the Maldives was an independent Islamic kingdom with its own proud ruler. The time was coming for the Maldives to move beyond using the money of other nations. The stage was set for the creation of the very first truly Maldivian coin. The journey towards their own national currency had truly begun. The first step towards a unique Maldivian currency was a curious one. It was not a round coin. It was a piece of silver wire, bent in half like a hairpin. This was known as the laren, or the fishhook coin. This type of money was used in several countries around the Indian Ocean, including Persia and Sri Lanka. Around the 16th century, the Maldivian sultans began to stamp their own names onto these silver hooks. It was a simple act, but a powerful one. It marked the laren as distinctly Maldivian. This was the first time a ruler's name appeared on currency in the islands. The laren served the Maldives well for a time, but the world of coinage was changing. Round, machine-struck coins were becoming the standard everywhere. So, in the 17th century, the Maldives took the next great leap. Sultan Ibrahim Iskandar I decided to mint the first round Maldivian coins. He melted down silver and created a coin that he called the Rufiyaa. The name itself comes from the Sanskrit word Rufiyaa, which means wrought silver. This was the ancestor of the money used in the Maldives today. It was a huge moment of pride for the small island nation. These early silver Rufiyaa coins were beautiful objects. They were struck by hand, which means each one was slightly different. On one side, they carried the name of the reigning sultan, written in elegant Arabic script. This showed everyone who was in charge. On the other side, the coin often stated the sultan's title, Sultan of the Land and the Sea, and the name of the capital, Malé. This was a powerful statement. It declared to the world that the Sultan of the Maldives ruled over both the islands and the vast ocean surrounding them. The introduction of the silver Rufiyaa did not immediately replace the cowrie shell. The two currencies existed side by side for a very long time. The Rufiyaa was used for high-value trades and for paying taxes to the Sultan. The cowrie shells, or as they were also called in smaller denominations, remained the money of the people for everyday needs. You might pay for a fishing boat with silver Rufiyaa, but you would buy your daily bread with a handful of shells. This dual system showed how the Maldives was blending its ancient traditions with new, international standards. The new silver Rufiyaa was much more than just a convenient piece of metal for buying and selling goods. It was, honestly, a powerful political tool and a symbol of national identity. Each coin was like a tiny metal poster, carrying a message from the Sultan to his people and to the wider world. The design of the coin was incredibly important, you know. Every element was chosen carefully to convey a specific meaning. The most prominent feature was always the name of the ruling sultan. Stamping his name onto the currency was the ultimate declaration of his authority and his right to rule the islands. The coins were also deeply connected to the nation's Islamic faith. The language used on the coins was Arabic, the language of the Quran. This immediately identified the Maldives as part of the global Islamic community. The inscriptions often included the Sultan's title, such as Al-Sultan Al-Azam, meaning the Great Sultan. Below his name, the phrase Sultan al-Bar wal-Bar was often inscribed. This translates to Sultan of the land and the sea. This bold claim asserted his dominion over all the islands and the vast ocean territories, a vital statement for a maritime nation whose lifeblood was the sea. Whenever a new sultan came to the throne, one of his first acts was to mint new coins bearing his own name. This was a way to announce the change in leadership across the entire kingdom. As the coins circulated from island to island, they carried the news of the new ruler. It was a way of making his power felt in even the most remote atolls. It solidified his reign and erased the monetary legacy of his predecessor. The coins were a physical representation of the continuity of the sultanate, even as the individual rulers changed over the centuries. This tradition of stamping the ruler's name and titles onto the coinage continued for hundreds of years. The style of the calligraphy might change, and the exact phrasing might be altered, but the core message remained the same. These coins told a story of an independent Islamic kingdom ruled by a line of proud sultans. They were a constant reminder to the people of their shared identity and their nation's sovereignty. The silver Rufiyaa was not just currency, it was a piece of Maldivian history that people could hold in their hands every single day. In 1887, the history of the Maldives took another turn. The Sultan signed an agreement with Great Britain, and the Maldives became a British protectorate. This meant that Britain would protect the Maldives from other foreign powers, but the Sultan would remain in full control of the country's internal affairs. The Maldives was never a British colony, and the Sultan continued to rule as he always had. This new relationship with the mighty British Empire, however, brought stability and new influences. It was during this peaceful and prosperous era that a very special coin was born, the gold Rufiyaa. The gold Rufiyaa was first minted in 1904 under the rule of Sultan Muhammad Shamsuddin III. This was an act of immense prestige. While silver was for trade, gold was for kings. Issuing a gold coin was a statement of wealth, stability, and royal grandeur. It was seen as the highest form of currency. The decision to mint a gold coin showed that the Maldivian Sultanate was confident and prosperous under the new arrangement with Britain. It was a way of showing that even as a protectorate, the Maldives retained its royal dignity and its sovereign identity. It was a golden moment for the nation. The design of the gold Rufiyaa was exquisite. It followed the tradition of the earlier silver coins, but with even greater artistry. One side of the coin featured the name of the Sultan, Muhammad Shamsuddin III, and his grand titles, all rendered in beautiful Arabic script. The other side was particularly symbolic. It featured the state emblem of the Maldives. This emblem included a crescent moon and a star, representing Islam, flanked by two national flags with a coconut palm tree, the tree of life for Maldivians, at the top. Below it all was the name of the state, Ad-Dawlat al-Mahaldibiyah, the state of the Maldives. This coin was not intended for buying groceries. It was a coin of significant value, used for very large transactions, for royal gifts, or saved as a store of wealth. It was a symbol of the ultimate financial power in the kingdom. The gold Rufiyaa was a perfect blend of Maldivian tradition and modern prestige. It carried the ancient titles of the Sultan and the Islamic faith, but its quality and its material, gold, put it on par with the great currencies of the world, like the British gold sovereign. It was a shining testament to a proud nation navigating a changing world. The 20th century brought immense change to the entire world, and the Maldives was no exception. The country moved from being a sultanate to a republic. It gained full independence in 1965, ending the protectorate agreement with Britain. A modern nation needed a modern financial system. The old ways of minting coins under the direct order of a sultan were no longer suitable for a growing economy. The country needed a central body to manage its money, control its supply, and ensure its stability. The era of modern banking and finance had arrived. This led to a major milestone in 1981. The government of the Maldives established the Maldives Monetary Authority, or MMA. This was the nation's first central bank. The MMA was given the sole responsibility for issuing and managing the country's currency. It took over the role that the sultans had held for centuries. The establishment of the MMA was a crucial step in the development of the Maldives as a modern, independent state. It brought the country's financial system in line with international standards and provided a solid foundation for economic growth. One of the first tasks of the MMA was to introduce a new series of banknotes and coins. While the name Rufiyaa was kept, in honor of the nation's long history, the designs were updated. The new banknotes, introduced in 1983, were vibrant and colorful. They no longer featured the portrait of a ruler. Instead, they celebrated the life and culture of the Maldivian people. The notes showed scenes of fishing, coconut harvesting, traditional craftsmanship, and the natural beauty of the islands. The coins, too, were redesigned with symbols of Maldivian life, like the turtle, the tuna, and the dhonie boat. This transition marked the end of the currency as a personal symbol of the ruler and the beginning of money as a symbol of the nation and its people. The Maldives Monetary Authority now manages the exchange rate of the Rufiyaa against other world currencies, like the US dollar. It works to keep inflation low and to maintain a healthy financial system for the country, which is now famous for its booming tourism industry. The MMA is the modern guardian of the nation's wealth, continuing the long story of currency that began with a simple cowrie shell. Even in our modern age of paper money and digital transactions, the allure of a gold coin has not faded. The Maldives Monetary Authority understands this powerful connection to the past. It knows that coins can be more than just money. They can be pieces of art and capsules of history. To celebrate this heritage, the MMA occasionally issues special, limited edition commemorative coins. These are not meant for everyday use. They are created to mark important national events, anniversaries, or to honor the rich culture of the Maldives. And often, these special coins are made of pure gold. These modern commemorative gold coins are echoes of the historic gold Rufiyaa of Sultan Shamsuddin III. They carry on the tradition of using precious metal to mark moments of great national pride. For example, the MMA might issue a gold coin to celebrate 50 years of independence or to commemorate the anniversary of the Republic. These events are milestones in the nation's journey, and a gold coin provides a beautiful and lasting way to remember them. The minting of such a coin is a significant event in itself, connecting the modern republic back to the golden age of the Sultanate. The designs of these commemorative coins are often stunning works of art. They are crafted by talented artists and minted using the latest technology, resulting in incredible detail and a flawless finish. The designs might feature a modern interpretation of the state emblem, a depiction of a national hero, or a symbol of the Maldives' unique natural environment, such as a manta ray or a whale shark. These coins blend traditional motifs with contemporary design, creating objects that are both historically relevant and artistically beautiful. They are a celebration of what it means to be Maldivian in the 21st century. Owning one of these modern gold coins is like owning a piece of Maldivian pride. They are produced in very small numbers, making them rare and highly sought after by collectors both in the Maldives and around the world. They serve as a bridge between the past and the present. They honor the historic gold Rufiyaa while celebrating the achievements of the modern nation. These glittering treasures ensure that the legacy of gold coinage in the Maldives continues to shine, reminding everyone of the country's rich history and vibrant culture. They are a testament to a nation that values its past as it builds its future. Today, the original gold Rufiyaa coins from the early 20th century are extraordinarily rare. They are the crown jewels of Maldivian numismatics, the study of coins. For coin collectors, finding an original gold Rufiyaa is a remarkable achievement. These coins are valued not just for the gold they contain, but for their immense historical importance. Each coin is a direct link to the era of the Sultans, a time of great change and prestige for the Maldives. They represent a golden age and are a tangible piece of the nation's royal past, making them almost priceless to those who understand their story. The value of the gold Rufiyaa goes far beyond the world of collectors. It has become a powerful national symbol. It represents the sovereignty and independence that the Maldives has maintained for centuries. In a world where many small nations were fully colonized, the Maldives managed to keep its internal rule, and the gold Rufiyaa is a shining symbol of that achievement. It speaks of a proud and independent Islamic kingdom that held its own on the world stage. It is a source of immense pride, a reminder that this small island nation has a history as rich and as precious as gold. The journey of Maldivian currency tells the story of the nation itself. It begins with the natural wealth of the ocean, in the form of the Cowrie shell. It moves through the age of international trade, the arrival of a new faith, and the birth of a sovereign kingdom with its own silver coins. And it reaches a peak of prestige with the minting of the gold Rufiyaa. This journey reflects the Maldives' ability to adapt, to innovate, and to blend its own unique culture with ideas from the outside world. The gold Rufiyaa stands at the pinnacle of this long and fascinating history. In conclusion, the gold Rufiyaa is far more than just an old piece of money. It is a symbol, a story, and a national treasure. It captures a unique moment in history when tradition, faith, and royal authority were minted into a single, beautiful object. It continues to inspire the commemorative coins of today and lives on in the national memory as a testament to the enduring spirit and proud heritage of the Maldivian people. The glitter of the gold Rufiyaa is the glitter of Maldivian history itself, a legacy that continues to shine brightly to this